Hello, my name is Shrestha and I'll be presenting my artist dialogue project on my game Insanity. So some quick background on the inspiration behind this game. So the artwork used for inspiration was The Study for the Voyage of Life, Old Age by Thomas Cole. It is the final installment in a 4-part series depicting the various stages of life, with the last one being death. So as you can see in the painting, it depicts a man sort of at the end of his road. Everything's sort of gloomy and dark as his end is near, but there's an angel there to sort of guide him towards heaven above, the sort of paradise. So, for the game and how this concept was turned on its head, so in the game, you start off in hell, in the underworld, and there's nobody sort of to save you and help you, and it's up to you and you alone to try to escape. So, more on that for the theses, the characters. So, you play right after the end of your mortal life. You have just woken up in your afterlife, and it is not the most pleasuring afterlife, and it is your goal to try to get out of here. And so to do that, there's different things you can do. So there's a lot of movement, and so there's a lot of exploration in the game, and there's also this mechanic on cheating death, which we'll get into. For the camera, the game is digital, and so the perspective is in first person. So for the game world, for the wake, when you start a level, which is called a ring, you'll be immediately starting this sort of ticking time bomb, where the world around you will progressively crumble more and more during your playthrough. If you don't manage to get out of the ring before the whole world collapses, then you'll be brought down with it, and the ring will sort of reset with you starting at the beginning. So for the environment, so the world you play in is hell, but it's a sort of different interpretation of hell, whereas the traditional media might be this blazing inferno. I sort of took the opposite. It's this cold, barren winterland with all this sort of fog, and just it feels almost empty. It's this embodiment of the sort of isolation and loneliness that can come from the end of one's life. And so there's also enemies in this game that will try to stop you from escaping these things, called manifests. There are different kinds. On the picture right now, that's one of them, called the Oblitus. And so they'll try to stop you. You don't actually have any weapons to take them down, so you either try to avoid them, or you have to be smart with how you use your other mechanics and environment around you to try to take them down. And so now let's go on to the playable mechanics of the game. So there's movement, there's first basic traversal, you can walk around, of course. There's also a soul leap, so you have different abilities, the first being the soul leap, where you can basically leap great distances. It helps you move around a lot faster. It's not as controllable, however. Then there's the soul chain, which acts somewhat like a grapple hook. If you can see a destination and it's within range, you can fire a chain towards it, and you can sort of reel yourself in. Doing that. For the infinite death mechanic, this is the sort of very focal part of the game as well. So while traditional games might have the respawns, when you die you respawn, and you usually respawn to a checkpoint that's automatically given to you. In this game, there's no automatic checkpoints. There are these totems instead that you have to manually activate, and there are two types of totems, and this dictates what happens when you respawn. The first is a reset totem, which acts almost like a single-player respawn mechanic, where when you die, you're brought back to that totem, and everything you did after activating that totem is completely wiped out. It's all reset. It's as if nothing beyond that ever happened. Now, there's a return totem, where when you die, you're sort of brought back, but nothing has changed, nothing has been reverted. You can almost think of it like a multiplayer game respawn, and so you'll have a choice between these sort of totems to use, and the great thing is that you can actually sort of manipulate death to succeed. So in this game, death can almost be used as a tool to win. So for the closing statement, how I sort of got the idea for this game out of the artwork. So the artwork sort of had this idea that at the end of life, even though the end is gloomy, there's this optimistic ending where this angel will sort of help you go up to heaven, stuff like that. I didn't really have that same idea. While it is a nice thought, and some people do get nice endings, not everyone does, and not everyone will be saved and given a perfect ending. So the idea was that maybe some people go up there, but some people go down. And so in this game, you play as one of those people that went down. You don't have any helping hand. You're sort of alone in this hell. And it's sort of a shift down, whereas in the artwork, it shows going from Earth to heaven. In this game now, you don't even start from Earth. You start down, you start in hell, and you're trying to get out of there. And that was the sort of where I ended up coming up with this game. It's almost like a opposite of the message of the artwork. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you.